everyone. The December review here. It's a strange time we find ourselves in, and I hope everyone out there has the resources they need to make it through this difficult time. Remember, we will get through this. But today, I'm going to talk about the recent Adam Sandler film, Uncut Gems. This film received many accolades upon screening in late 2019. Being a fan of Adam, I was intrigued to find him jump back into a more serious role. For the most part, when Adam chooses these types of characters, he does a great job. Case in point, the brilliant Punch Drunk Love and the heartbreaking Reign Over Me. Those are two movies I cherish and where Adam shines. Can Uncut Gems find itself onto that exclusive list? Let's find out. Co-written and directed by Josh and Benny Safdie, Uncut Gems finds Sandler playing Howard, an owner of a jewelry store in New York City's Diamond District. Howard is estranged from his wife and two kids, somewhat living with his girlfriend and employee of the jewelry store. We are dropped into the chaos that is Howard's life. He is a gambling addict with money owed all around town, including a large sum to a loan shark named Arno, who is sending his thugs out to put the pressure on for payback. The film opens up with the discovery of a rare opal rock found in Africa, which Howard has been able to buy and is making its way to his store. At the same time, Boston Celtic basketball player Kevin Garnett is visiting looking for new jewelry. Once Kevin is introduced to the opal, he must have it for his own. However, this is Howard's big payday, as he estimates the stone's value around $1 million and has it ready to go up for auction. Well, Kevin decides to borrow the gem for a few days as it seemingly unlocks his powers on the court as the Celtics are in the playoffs. Madness ensues as Howard goes from one bad situation to another, one horrible transition to a glimmer of hope, only to have any uptick quickly brushed away as he makes bad decision after bad decision. I'm a bit iffy on this film overall. There's a lot I liked and there's a lot I didn't. I'll start with the positives. The cast is top-notch. There are plenty of familiar faces all around with multiple characters dashing in and out of the storylines, which there are many. Everyone brought their A-game here as the tension ratchets up to 11. Julia Fox does a great job as Howard's girlfriend. It feels like you aren't sure which side she is on for the first half of the film, but after a major plotline misgiving, she quickly becomes a focal point and does so in a very charming way. Idina Menzel as Howard's soon-to-be ex-wife also does great, conveying the years she has had to put up with her husband's bullshit. She steals one scene where she in no uncertain terms honestly tells Howard how she feels about him. It's a brutal takedown and a deserved one at that. Judd Hirsch pops in as Howard's father-in-law and does a great job as well. He gets his own scene during the auction of the opal in which he is asked to pump up the bidding. It goes as well as you would expect, and it was great to see Judd again. Eric Bogosian as Arno is an interesting character. He is introduced to us as a heavy, the loan shark ready to break a few bones to get what's owed to him, but a plot twist about halfway through changes the dynamic of the situation, which only adds to the once again brimming tension building throughout. Kevin Garnett also does a great job here, though his character is mostly saved from the harm. He is in this film a lot, but is mostly pain-free as he visits the jewelry store and hits the court for a few playoff games, to which the Stone and Howard are directly tied into, as Howard has money riding on the games. Which brings me to Adam Sandler. Yes, he does a great job here. It's a tough thing to be able to swing compassion out of a jerk like Howard, but Adam conveys some charm while digging his life deeper and deeper into a hole. He basically lies to everyone around him, all the time planning and shifting things into a manic state of hell for himself. Every time he does get some good money into his hands, he dashes away for a chance to take some heat off of himself with placing another gambling bet. As an audience member, I had to shake my head a few times wondering why someone would continue to make these decisions. And that's what's at the heart of this film. It's a study on the life of an addict. In this case, it's a gambling addict, but you can interchange any addiction here and it would still make sense. That overdriving need to make that one big bet supersedes any chance of living a normal life, all the while hurting or pissing off every single person around him. Having someone who is usually the goofy, well-mannered type play this role works for the film's advantage, as I found myself rooting for him to come out even at the end. He doesn't have a chance to come out ahead, but even would be good enough here. I won't spoil the ending, but it left me feeling shook up. I'll leave it at that. I also won't say that this is his best work, as the films I already mentioned stand higher on this list for me. You get shades of Adam in Punch Drunk Love here with that anger brimming at the surface, but in that film, Adam is someone to root for, an underdog who is trying to do his best. In Reign Over Me, he's as sympathetic as any character you will find, isolating himself after a tragedy while loving people around him try to bring him back to center. Here, there is no center with Howard, at least not enough to latch onto. It's a great performance, but to say it's his best undercuts the legendary work he did with Paul Thomas Anderson. But that's just my opinion. PTA happens to be my favorite director of all time. So the acting was great, the story was very well put together, and all of these crazy things come to a head. What bothered me, though, was the way the directors decided to shape the craziness. This film is loud. You get multiple conversations going on at the same time with up-close camera work as people scream and yell over each other again and again and again. Cell phones ring, landlines ring, buzzers go off. All the while, 5 people are trying to have 10 different conversations, screaming and carrying on. It can be headache-inducing. The film works much better when it gets to slow things down a bit, allowing Howard to interact one-on-one with either his wife, girlfriend, or kids. It does help create that chaos around Howard as the film feels like a time bomb ready to go off as we get closer to the end. And it does blow up. It's a frantic pace that serves the story but doesn't serve my ears at times. There's also music blasting in what feels like 90% of the film. So add a never-ending soundtrack to that shouting and it's a bit overkill. With all that said, it's still a very well put together film. There are just enough swerves in the plot to keep you guessing, and the acting will carry you to the finish line. The second half plays better than the first once things have been set up and the dominoes start to fall. The ending is a nail-biter and will leave you thinking for a while. Overall, I give Uncut Gems 2.5 stars out of 5. You just might want to bring some earplugs or aspirin.